Wow. Hi everybody, welcome back to Cantonese food recipes. Today we are going to make a sweet and sour pork recipe. If you followed my channel, if you subscribe to my channel, and if you also watched a lot of my videos, you will see that I have never ever made a sweet and sour pork recipe. I remember like when I was young, when I was like working at the takeaway shop and all that stuff, my mom usually made the sweet and sour pork recipe, but those were the battered ones when you just dip the pork meat into the batter and you deep fry it and you serve it to your customers and stuff. So I hope you guys watch this video till the end, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Let's begin. Okay guys, so I just took out some pork loin out of my freezer and I defrosted the meat. So as you can see, look how much meat is here. It's going to be a lot of sweet and sour pork tonight. So I'm just going to take this out and drain it. We're first going to cut it up and then we'll just give it a quick rinse again. Look at all that bloody content. Okay, let's cut the pork loin over here. You can see how big this is over here. Just cut it up. So I'm first on this pork loin, it has this pork belly skin. We're first going to just take it off. Take out the pork belly skin over here. Okay, for this recipe, we're just going to cut some like just square cubed pieces for this sweet and sour pork recipe. So yeah, just bite-sized pieces just like that. Okay guys, so as you can see, I chopped up my 3 slices of pork loin over here into like cubed pieces just like this. And then now to clean this, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Just add 1 teaspoon of baking soda just like this. Just use your hands and just rub it in. The baking soda will help get rid of the impurities and the porky smell and all that stuff. So yeah, just give it a quick mix like this and leave it to rest for 5 minutes, and then we will rinse this out and drain it. Then I'll show you guys how to marinate the pork pieces over here for the sweet and sour pork. Okay, wash the pork. Just gonna wash this 2 to 3 times until I see the water is clear. And then you'll just drain off the water. Okay guys, let's drain the pork over here. Just going to give it a quick squeeze just like that. You can see a lot of water is coming out when you just squeeze the meat. If you don't squeeze the meat, there will be a lot of water content. But you don't need to like pat it dry or anything like that. Yeah, just massage the meat by squeezing it, and then once you squeeze it, once we marinate it, it will absorb a lot of flavor into the meat. So yeah, just do that, squeeze just like that. Okay, I'll show you guys how to marinate this. Okay, here's my marination station. Let's pop in the pork over here. Okay, first we're gonna add in our basic Cantonese spices, which is just 1 teaspoon of salt, a sprinkle of white pepper on top. We're gonna add in about 5 teaspoons of sugar. Because we got so much pork here, so we just need 5 teaspoons of sugar. Then we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon powder. Then we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of crushed garlic. I'm using store-bought crushed garlic. And now let's give it a quick mix. Let all that meat get some of that spices into it before we add in our wet ingredients. First I'm going to drizzle some oyster sauce all around on top. Then we're going to drizzle some soy sauce all around. Okay, next we're going to drizzle some Chinese rice wine to get rid of that porky flavor, and a drizzle of sesame oil. Okay, now let's just give this a good mix again. Quick mix is fine. Okay, now we're gonna crack in 1 egg. And just give it a quick mix. You need this egg in the sweet and sour pork because it will help bind the all-purpose flour that we will be coating these pieces of pork into. Without the egg, when you coat it in the flour, when you deep fry it, the flour is just going to fall off because the flour becomes too crusty when you deep fry it. But the egg acts like it makes the flour softer when you deep fry, so it'll stick onto the pork over here, and it'll be more crispy. But the crispiness will come when we add in that cornstarch. Okay, now you gave it a good mix, and now you just gotta look at your bowl over here. You can see, you just check how much liquid you have, and you'll add in a decent amount of cornstarch to thicken up the marinade. So for here, I'll just add in 3 heaped teaspoons of cornstarch. Doesn't matter more or less, because we're going to be coating it in all-purpose flour later. So yeah, I'll just give it a quick mix again. Just like that. And the cornstarch will help fuse all that flavor into the pork, you know, during the marination process. And then yeah, when you take a bite of this pork, it'll be so delicious. Okay, just like that. A bit wet, but you can see that the marinade is thick now. Okay, we'll let this marinate in the fridge for 1 hour, and then we'll coat these pork pieces. Okay, while that is marinating in the fridge, we'll cut up some bell peppers and onions and pineapple for the stir fry. So over here I got half a red bell pepper and green pepper and yellow pepper. Let's just cut this up. Slice it like this. Cut it into smaller pieces, but like triangles or any shape you like. It's just for the presentation. Make sure the pieces are small, not too big. Green bell pepper. Add some color to the dish. Okay, for the red onion over here, cut it into 4 cubes like this. And then we're going to separate it just like that. I'm going to separate it first because when you're stir frying, then it will be easier for it to cook. Or else you have to separate it while you are frying, and that will take some time. So just separate it up like this. Okay. Got full onion over here. Cut it into 4s and then separate. Okay, check this out. Okay, now let's cut up some pineapple. Okay, I've got 1 pineapple over here. Okay, so it's like this. Now I have to just take these out. When I have that, I saw on like TikTok that kind of scooper that scoops these bits out. Okay guys, finally I cut this pineapple up. It took some time. I prefer to buy store-bought cut up pineapples already, but hey, using some fresh pineapple here. So let's cut this in half first. Cut it like this. Cut slices just like this. thin slices. So yeah, looking something like this. I think we're just going to use half a pineapple. That should be enough. And this one, I'm just going to eat it up. Okay, there we go. This is our ingredients. I'll just put this in the fridge for the stir fry later on. Okay guys, so I've marinated my pork for about an hour now, and now it's time to coat them. So over here I put enough all-purpose flour, and also we're going to add in 1 heaped teaspoon of cornstarch. And we're just going to give that a good mix in this flour over here. Then we'll coat the pork. Okay, for the pork I'm just going to give a quick mix in this marinade again. And I'm just going to spoon in some pieces of pork into this flour so I can thoroughly toss them in the flour here quickly. I'm going to put on a glove. Just toss it nicely in the flour. Make sure it's single pieces and just pop them into your baking tray here. Okay, so I'm just going to dust all of them in this flour, and then we will deep fry them. Okay guys, it's time to deep fry our coated pork over here. Let's check this out. Okay, there's a lot. Check this baking tray out. Okay, now let's check out the oil. I've preheated the oil to 150 degrees Celsius. You don't want to go over 150 degrees Celsius when you're frying these pork ribs. So I threw in a crumb over here. You can see it's rising out of the oil, so that means it's ready. So now we're going to fry the pork pieces in batches. We're going to place them in the oil piece by piece. We're going to fry them twice so it can get very crispy. And we're going to do that all at 150 degrees Celsius. So don't overcrowd the wok, just take it slowly. If you have a lot of pork pieces, if you want some delicious crispy pork, so you've got to do these procedures step by step, or else you'll end up with soggy pork pieces. Okay. Okay, once we place it into the oil, we don't want to move it around. We want to let it sit in the oil for like 30 to 40 seconds to let it form its crust before we move it around. Okay, after 30 to 40 seconds you can hear it's starting to bubble up. That means a lot of the water content from the pork is starting to pop out through the coating of the pork. So when it starts to bubble up, we can start moving it around. So as I can feel my chopsticks here, I can feel that I can feel the pork crust has already formed. So it's good. So now just keep on moving it around and let it fry in the oil for about another 30 to 40 seconds, and we will raise it out. Okay, now we're going to lift it out. It should be ready for the first fry. It's all about the second fry when you get that golden color. The first fry you always don't see that golden color. So we're going to let these cool down in a bowl. We'll place it and then we'll fry in the new batch. So just check that out. Okay, kind of crispy but not ready yet. Put it in the bowl. Okay guys, so I'm going to do this for the rest of the pork, and then I'll show you guys the second fry. Okay guys, so I'm done with my first fry. As you can see, I have two bowls over here. This bowl was fried first, so it's cooled down already, and this one is the hotter one, so I'm going to work with the cooler one I'm going to work with the cooler fried pork over here first. Now in the wok over here, I increased the heat to 160 degrees Celsius, so it's just an extra 10 degrees more than the 150 degrees Celsius when we used it for the first fry. So yeah, so once we place the pork into this oil, it's going to penetrate the pork deep inside and take away a lot of its moisture out of the pork. Then the pork will be well cooked. But we're just going to fry in here for a few, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Let's just place it in now. You'll see it'll start to bubble up a lot. If the oil gets too hot, we can drop the temperature back to 150 degrees. Okay, now it's at a high temperature. We'll keep on moving it around while it will burn. And you can see I placed in a lot of the pork in here, so that we can speed it up with this cooking process. Okay guys, so I fried this for nearly like 3 minutes now. And you can also see the oil is not bubbling up a lot, which shows that a lot of the moisture from the pork is already gone, so it has already penetrated the center of the pork pieces over here. So now I'm just going to lift these out. And they are crispy. Okay guys, so I'll lift these out and I will prepare the other batch, and we'll make the sweet and sour sauce and coat these up. Check that. Let me show you the color comparison from the first fry. This is the second fry. First fry, second fry. Okay. Okay guys, so first we are going to stir fry our pineapple, bell peppers and onion first in this wok. Let's turn up the heat. Okay, let's just give our veggies a little bit of a stir fry first for a minute or two. Okay, now we're gonna prepare the sweet and sour sauce. Okay, so it depends on how much how much pork you have fried. So I'm gonna add in half a cup of water here because I want a saucy sweet and sour sauce over here. I'm gonna add in a 1/4 cup of white vinegar. I'm going to add in half a teaspoon of salt, and then I'm going to pour in some tomato sauce. So, doesn't matter how much tomato sauce you put in, just give it a good amount. I would say here is about half a cup of tomato sauce here. We're adding 1 tablespoon of sugar. We'll see if we want more sweetness just now after we taste the sauce. Okay, now let's tune up the heat and mix it up. For sweet and sour pork, you want a lot of sauce to coat the pork, and then it'll be very delicious. I can smell that vinegar, that sour flavor and that tomato flavors popping out the steam over here. Okay, once it boils, let's turn down the heat and let's give it a little taste to see if we need more sugar. It's perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna turn down the heat and prepare a little cornstarch slurry. Okay, so over here is one teaspoon of cornstarch mixed with some kettle water, and I just mixed it with my finger to dissolve it over here. Now, before we add it to the sauce, you first need to raise the temperature up, but not so high, or else the sauce dries up too quick. Okay, now we're going to just slowly drizzle it around the sauce here and mix. And continue. You want it like a thick sauce so it can coat all that pork nicely. Now let this cook for 30 seconds, and then we can dump in our veggie ingredients in here. Okay, we're gonna cook this until the sauce is consistent that you like. The longer you cook it, the longer the sauce will thicken up. But you must just keep on stirring it up in the wok over here. Okay, looks perfect. Let's give it a taste. Delicious. Let's pop in our veggies over here. Just let it cook. Turn up the heat now a little bit more. Let that sauce soak into the veggies over here. The onions and the pineapple and the bell peppers. When we're cooking it in the sauce, it's going to release its juices into the sauce, so the sauce will be even more delicious. So just cook the veggies in here for like a minute, and then we'll toss in the pork. Let me just taste it. Even better once we placed in the veggies in here. Okay, now I'm going to turn it up to the highest heat. Okay, let's toss in our pork. Check that out. Toss it in and keep on stir frying it. Crispy pork here. I'm going to tune down the heat because the sauce is drying up now. But just leave the heat on for now until, because we want the sauce to be a bit drier. And we toss it in this pork here. Check that out. So I'm going to switch off the heat now. Enough heat. Okay, I'll just keep on tossing it. Coat everything up here. Wow. Okay guys, you can see this is a whole wok of sweet and sour pork, and I don't think my plate will fit all of them. So, but hey, we will try. This up here. Check that out. Wow. Wow Guys, check at this. This is sweet and sour pork over here. Wow. Look how beautiful that is. Okay guys, been cooking for a long time, making this big plate for dinner tonight. It's time to taste. Guys, check out my sweet and sour pork here. Wow, look at that. Wow, look how beautiful that is. Wow. Very big plate that can feed a lot of people here. And it's cheap to make. Okay guys, let's taste this. Okay, grab a piece. Let's check this out. Wow, nicely coated. Let's taste. So crispy, guys, so crispy. The sweet and sour sauce is perfect. Guys, you must give this recipe a try and also let me know how it went. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell for new upcoming recipes coming. Okay guys, it's been long cooking. It's time for dinner. Let's eat. Thanks guys for watching.